Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. I am Jeff Ackerman. Who are you?
I'm Troy, I think.
Yep, cool.
I didn't expect to have to tell my own name today.
I didn't expect to introduce myself either. It just came out my mouth.
You did it.
And who's the other guy?
I don't know. Who am I?
I know it's a deep
Who are
philosophical
you?
question.
Yeah, who
Where
are
am
any
I?
of us really?
What is this dark box I'm in?
I'll tell you who I'm not. I am not the new Jets quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Can't do it. What?
That's
Wait,
right.
What? Hold
That's
on.
right.
I was gonna say we can't talk about this, but maybe we can talk about this.
The trade went through as of this morning. Aaron Rodgers is officially going to the Jets. He is following in the footsteps of Brett Favre, going from a Packers legend to a Jet. Wow.
So wait, if you're not Aaron Rodgers, does that make me Aaron Rodgers? Did I get traded?
No, because you believe 9/11 actually happened.
Yeah.
And
Aaron Rodgers is a little bit of a freak.
Aaron Rodgers is officially part of the New York Jets, and I
Okay.
can't wait for him to go to New York and try to say 9/11 didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a thing that he.
Hang on. Drop it the bit. I'm Chris Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So Aaron Rodgers was doing some podcast interview. I think it was with Joe Rogan.
We're talking about the Mandalorian, by the way. We will get to the Mandalorian.
We will get to the Mandalorian.
Please keep listening.
Please keep listening. But Aaron Rodgers doing some sort of podcast interview with a personality and another football player. And I don't remember how it came up exactly, but Aaron Rodgers was like, "Do you believe 9/11 happened?" And the other football player was like,
First thing out of his mouth.
"Yep."
First thing he said.
The other football player was like, "Do I believe that the Twin Towers got hit and collapsed?" Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers kind of smirks and laughs. He's like, "Huh, you should look into that." And I'm just like, and the whole world was like, "Excuse me?
This was a
what?
This was a football podcast.
This was a football show about the
podcast
football.
about football, a thing that he does for a living professionally.
And at the time of the podcast, he lived and played in Green Bay, Wisconsin. He shouldn't have been talking about New York at all for any reason. He randomly brought up that 9/11 didn't happen.
He saw the Kanye shit and was just like, I could have some of that for myself.
Okay, as amusing as that is, I also find it funny that we started the podcast, didn't even mention what the topic was, and we immediately fucking ricocheted off of it at a 90-degree angle.
Yeah, no.
Let's talk about the Mandalorian.
We should talk
Mando!
about Mandalorian.
TB&J! I don't know if you guys noticed, but sometimes when we do these like late at night, they get a little sillier.
I was gonna deflect that topic so hard, and as soon as I heard the words out of your mouth, I was like, I actually need to hear everything about this.
You were like turning away from me, trying to deflect it, and then when I said Aaron Rodgers is a Jet, you turned around so fast you got whiplash. You're like, wait, what?
I literally may have broken my neck.
That earlier today, I had mentioned that I was gonna bring up something on the podcast, and my fiance was grilling me trying to find out what it was.
That's what it was?
Oh,
man.
I thought you were gonna feed me more bad food.
No, I really wanted your genuine, honest reaction
That's
to that.
crazy.
Because I knew you didn't know yet.
I thought we were just gonna make fun of Tucker Carlson.
Oh, also Tucker Carlson got the boot, and good riddance to bad garbage. Fuck Tucker Carlson.
I just don't know.
forever.
I just don't know
Did
how I'm
you-
gonna
did
figure
you see
out
that
which food is too woke anymore.
Oh, it's
which
okay. Did you hear
candies?
who they hired?
No, I didn't.
Andrew Tate.
That's not true.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
That's a joke. I'm trying to think of like a worse human.
Did you hear
he's
that,
in
like-
prison.
He's in
Did you
prison
hear
in
that the
Romania.
Russian state news tried to hire Tucker Carlson?
I mean, I firmly believe that. He was doing a lot of legwork for them already. Guys, we need to get on track here, please. This is the Season 3 finale of The Mandalorian. And, spoilers, you can tell how much we liked it because we haven't exactly stayed on topic.
I will correct you. I liked this episode.
That's the next step. All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Troy, thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Cool. Chris, what's your opinion?
Thumbs up.
I'm also a thumbs up for this episode.
Yes.
And we'll get into that a little later.
There's plenty in this episode that I did not like, but there was also a lot that I loved.
And we will get into so much of that. So, first things first. If this is your first episode, I'm sorry. We don't normally talk about football and Aaron Rodgers.
Or Tucker Carlson.
Or Tucker Carlson.
Well,
we've
Tucker
actually never talked about him on the podcast before at all.
Tucker
actually.
Carlson? I feel like that's not true.
D has a good impression of him that's busted out a couple times, but we've never actually talked about Tucker Carlson.
I feel like you're more likely to run into Tuck on this than Aaron Rodgers.
You just shortened it to Tuck.
Let's not talk.
Yeah, that's our.
Let's not call him
Tuck.
Tuck.
We're on a nickname basis.
Cool.
Me and Tuck.
You and Tuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so close.
Me
homies.
and Tucky C.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite thing about Tucker Carlson, very recently this happened, he shit on New York City for a good long, 5-10 minutes after New Yorkers booed Donald Trump when he was going for his indictment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only tweet I saw related to that was, "Hey, Tuck, where do you live?" And I had to Google it. Tucker lives in New York City. Because that's where Fox News is.
Good old Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson.
That's right. His family owns the Swanson Frozen Foods Company.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Also, the name Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson is he must have gotten bullied in high school.
He's like a Southern belle from the 1880s. It's like,
God.
good heavens. Oh my goodness.
None of those four names work off of each other. It's literally swerving from back to forth between the names. There's no cadence to them.
Should we talk about what we liked about this episode?
What do you think he makes the
Yes.
help call him? We're not doing this. We're not doing this. All right. If this is your first podcast, I'm going to finish my original thought that I had 8 minutes ago. We do a thing here, thumbs up, thumbs down in the beginning, and everything gets a letter grade at the end. If it's a TV show, we try to chop it up into sections. In the case of The Mandalorian, we did it in halves. So at the end of this half, we're going to give the entire show a letter grade, and we also give the episode, each individual episode gets a yes or no. All right, cool. So we do try to start off with a bit of positivity. We try to talk about the stuff we liked about the piece of media before we shit all over it. So I usually throw it to you first, Troy. What did you enjoy about this episode? What were your favorite bits?
I thought that this had some of the best fights in The Mandalorian proper, Mandalorian as a whole. Season 1, 2, 3, all of them. I genuinely liked if you literally just watch this episode and the episode before it, and that's the whole season, I feel like you got everything. I felt like everything worked. I loved seeing my big fear from last episode was that the Praetorian Guards would be real nerfed down to henchman status.
Oh,
and I thought that they were pretty intimidating still.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of weirdness when the puppet was jumping around, but we've talked about that already. And it wasn't
it's
the worst.
Weird whenever the puppet's moving.
Wasn't the worst version of that in this.
No. I think him shooting the Mando kid with the paintballs might have been the worst.
Mm-hmm. I also liked some of the ending, not all of it.
Yep.
And I liked certain things, and I think that it sets itself in a place where season 4 can succeed a lot.
Yeah, I remember when the show first came out, a lot of the people in my work were super excited because they were like, oh, cool, space bounty hunter doing space bounty hunter things, and it just happens to be in Star Wars universe. This is going to be super dope. And then it kind of evolved into the new season of Rebels.
Sure, season
and then they kind of
2
dialed
really...
that back a bit, and then it just became this weird, Rebels adjacent show almost. And a lot of the people...
It's not really Rebels adjacent, but it does, it talks about with, Thrawn and stuff, and Ahsoka's in it.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the characters that are from that universe are in this universe.
Yeah,
so,
we got a couple little calls to some of the previous properties.
Yeah, a lot of callbacks to the animated works.
Season 2, in general, really started turning into, the cameo backdoor pilot season. And I think that it worked really well. I don't think that it got...
Rosario's getting the Ahsoka show?
Yeah, I don't think any of it overdid it. And, I was actually talking to my brother about this today, of, there is a lot of... there's a lot of people who complain of oh, it's so self-referential and, they only reference things. And every now and then you have to remember... No, they do need to put a Star Wars thing in the Star Wars show from time to time. Ahsoka exists and is alive.
Yeah.
So, even though she's died twice.
And Luke was as well in the show. He was a big part of it in the beginning of season
And I don't
2.
think any of that took away from 2. 3 actually surprised me that it took almost all of that out, except for Bo.
Yeah.
But Bo's more of a Mandalorian character now, so
Yeah, this is her show now.
yeah, she really took over this season.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in the second half because that's a thing I had a problem with. Things I liked about this episode. Me, Jeff. Okay, they finally got rid of that fucking robot suit that Grogu was walking around in. The Praetorians destroyed it, and thank fucking Christ. I'm so glad he's not in that fucking robot suit walking around. Yes, no. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. That was so fucking annoying, and it felt like that robot was way fucking stronger and sturdier than it needed to be.
Oh, it did a lot of heavy lifting.
That robot did a lot of physical and cinematic heavy lifting, and there's no fucking way that IG frame is holding up to the abuse it got put through in just an episode and a half.
It really feels like the only reason that they brought the IG suit out is to have that scene on the little fucking skiff where Grogu stops the fight, and for no other reason.
And you're going to tell me that 2 very highly trained, massive Mandalorians in full armor are just going to stop because there's a robot between them saying no?
A little baby in it.
I rolled my eyes.
Baby Bjorn.
Audience.
I don't want to punch the baby.
You don't punch the baby. You just push.
I would
then you get
absolutely punch that
Din
baby.
Remember though, you are talking about positives.
Yeah, positive. Stay positive. Okay, cool. I liked how they went into those little surface caves and they saw Mandalore was not complete garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It does have the potential to come back. And we saw that again when Bo-Katan relit the Great Forge. And they had that big old scene for Mandalore, and that was pretty cool. Axe Woves doing the suicide run that turned into a not suicide run at the very end, just diving the capital ship into the base. That looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, that was
like
pretty
4
cool.
times, my girlfriend said, like, is he gonna get out of this? Is he gonna just escape somehow? Like leave the ship while it's burning? And then he shot out a window and flew out of it. We're like, oh yeah, that works.
Oh yeah. I forgot they
4
had
separate
windows.
times.
Yeah, okay,
They all
cool.
have jetpacks at all times. Interesting. I forgot about that.
They all have jetpacks.
It's interesting that those windows can just be like normally destroyed with a normal blaster when they're on a spaceship. And
I believe he used a rocket off his wrist.
Oh, did he? I don't
don't remember.
I believe he used a wrist rocket to blow the window.
Watch those.
Okay,
Watch those wrist rockets!
it's been like
Moff
a week, so I didn't
Moff
remember.
Gideon uses a wrist rocket too, I believe.
He does. He shoots at Din Djarin when they start having their final fight. Also, final fight between Din and Moff Gideon, and eventually Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon. Fucking cool. Fucking super cool. I always love a nice big villain fight, especially when you're gonna involve laser swords, even if it's only for a bit before he breaks the laser sword.
I thought that fight was good. I thought the hallway scene with the ray shields was fucking awesome. That was so much better.
I was expecting limbs to come off when they bounced into those shields, but like maybe because they're wearing Beskar, it's different.
No, it depends on the there's
It depends on the writer, really.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Yeah.
different effects when you hit those ray shields. Sometimes
I seem to
they're
remember
fine.
the ray shields in episode 1 being a lot more dangerous.
Well, you never even see what they do. You could have bounced off them. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. I guess there's just implied danger. But you know,
But yeah, there's video games where if you throw somebody into them, they literally disintegrate. They turn into nothing, like Force Unleashed or something like that.
yeah, I think it is
and then-
Force Unleashed.
And then there's like some games and movies and shows and stuff like that where they just kind of hit them and they just bounce off of them and they're like, "Ow, that was like a brick wall." And it's just like, all right, well, these don't have any sort of consistency.
No,
They had the ray shield set to wall and not death.
I mean, you're also in the universe that where a thermal detonator can either be a small grenade or a ship-destroying explosive device.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, there's no consistency at all.
Again, it just depends on who's writing.
Exactly. It's a lot like
I am-
Superman's powers, depending on who wrote him in the beginning days.
The ray shields are a little bit more believable than like the thermal detonator. The thermal detonator, like, oh, it's a grenade. Like it's like it should be the same sort of thing every time.
But if you toss one into an AT-AT, it just completely combusts and the head falls off.
Yeah. But like
And that was the best movie.
but the thing about the ray shields is like I can see them being like different different bases, and like whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, having things that not wanting to disintegrate your coworkers by accident.
I mean, it's the Empire. If you're not accidentally killing people,
Sure.
you're not empiring right. You know?
Sure.
Come on. You're imperialists after all.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck else was good about this episode?
I want to talk about that hallway scene a little bit more.
We definitely can. Go for it, Chris.
The choreography was excellent, and it really shows how good of a fighter Din can be when he's not just relying on the Beskar to win him fights. He's not just like tanking shots. He's dodging, evading, counterattacking.
He had a fucking body shield.
I do also love
and a little pokey stick.
People always.
I mean,
talk
but he
about-
stole those items off the other fighters.
No, yeah. I'm agreeing with you, Chris. I'm not complaining.
That's also the probably the coolest part of it is like every single show and movie you ever watch, you're like, why wouldn't you pick up the fucking submachine gun that guy just dropped? And Din literally is just like, it's like he's playing Skyrim with no loot, and he just keeps killing guys and picking up their sword, and being like, the next guy has a better sword, and picking it up and then stabbing the next guy. And like it is like, oh yeah, no, he's like, he is like, we always say that he's like an idiot, but like this is like the one thing that he does really well.
He's a D&D barbarian.
Yeah.
He has no other skills other than fight. And that's, you know what? That's valid. Go for it, Din. You have no charisma. You have no wisdom. You have very little intelligence. But god damn it, can you kill a motherfucker?
I do also love the very like John Wickian style. Like everybody's invulnerable to all bullets and damage, so you have to like stab him in the neck between the plates, which is like a thing that we've yelled at for 2 seasons in a row now, of just like, why wouldn't you shoot him in like the neck or like the side where like there's clearly an open thing there? And now everybody's in Beskar, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the only way to kill them. And then they actually have to like write that in that way, other than somebody getting shot, and they're just like, you didn't have his Beskar was a little bit worse.
Like, I mean, some of it seems a little like, the consistency seems off.
Yeah, like, I mean, during the big sky battle, there's
that's
some
exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
There's some scenes where people get shot with blasters and they just drop, which I guess could be said that like the recoil knocks them out and they stop flying and then fall to their deaths tragically.
We also saw they're Empire scum. Fuck you.
It depends. I could have Mandalorians.
We also saw the knee rockets again during that same fight.
The knee rockets, yeah.
Yeah, the knee rockets.
What is this character? What is that character's name? That wasn't Bo. That was the other.
That was her like right hand gal.
Yeah, she has a name though. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know her face, and I mean, she's always like standing next to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
But nah, I can't remember. What else was really, really good about this episode? Din getting his fucking ass kicked. I don't know why, but I enjoyed that. And not in like a yes, kill him. Not in that kind of a way, but in a way where it's like, oh shit, Gideon's really powerful in this fucking suit. And you can like hear it when he walks, that it's less of a Beskar suit and almost like a Darth Vader suit, where he's like halfway upgraded himself. Because like under the helmet, he's still 60-something-year-old Giancarlo Esposito.
Yep.
Or 50-something-year-old. I'm sorry, Giancarlo. I don't want to make you older than you are. But like, he's an older man. He needs some help, and he's got that fucking suit. Now, I meant to ask you, Troy, what is there any sort of root in the canon for the cloning with the Force bit that he was doing?
I think there is. I'm pretty sure there is. Also,
I know that 9 introduced a lot of weird shit with cloning in general.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, that character from before was Casca Reeves.
Casca Reeves.
I want to say it was Casca something, but
also Giancarlo Esposito, 65.
65.
I was hesitant to say Casca because I think Axe says Casca over the
he
microphone
does.
point. And I was hesitant to say that because I know that there's a different Star Wars character. I don't know what it's from. I just know it's an X-Wing. There's another character named like Kashka Frost, and I didn't want to say that because I knew that was a different person. I just don't know who it is.
I usually, if I don't know, I just try to go super like out of left field, and it's like her name is Jill, because clearly it's not. but I like to make sure, like, I'm definitely wrong.
What you need to do is you need to make up a Star Wars name. Like you need to be like, oh, his name is Bleebo, and then just try to go for it.
Oh, Shitto.
What's that?
Club Shitto.
Club Shitto. Yeah. That tickles
It's
Chris
funny
so
because
much.
Glub Shitto was like a meme that was started about Baby Yoda.
Really?
Yeah, the origins of that was people being like, I'm so sick and tired of Star Wars fans telling me like, oh man, I fucking love this show. It has Glub Shitto, my favorite, and it's just like, who the fuck is Glub Shitto? It's like a picture of Baby Yoda, where it's just like this random character who nobody knows.
I
that they put in
fucking
the
love
background.
that meme so goddamn much.
It's like, it was
oh
like
my
an
god,
order. I was
it's Glub
surprised you got
Shitto.
that was like Mandalorian season 1 when that started.
I mean, let's be honest. Some of the names in Star Wars, like,
no, Glub Shitto's not out of left field.
no,
Elon Sleaze Pagano is a character.
fucking Porkins.
Jack Porkins, Gascano, Meeber Gascon. I know them all, man. Droopy McCool is a real character. No, look it up. There's a character named Droopy McCool. He plays an instrument in Jabba's palace. I swear to God, he
In
smells.
the Max Rebo band?
He's in the Max Rebo band.
Oh,
He
no!
smells like vanilla.
He smells like vanilla!
Yeah, this is a real thing on Wikipedia.
I can't breathe.
Because I'm a freak. I'm a fucking freak, Jeff.
He smells like vanilla!
Yep, right next to Cy Snoodles and Joe Yazza.
Joe Yazza!
Joe Yazza.
Oh, that
He's the
fucking
guy who
reminds me.
screams right into the microphone and you see his uvula in the special editions.
Joe
We
Yazza!
saw those
Yeah,
little.
that's Joe Yowza.
We saw those. We saw
That's
those
him.
little monkey bird things. We saw those little monkey bird things earlier in this season that Jabba had. What's his name? It's also
Salacious B. Crumb.
Salacious B. Motherfucking Crumb.
He's my favorite character. I was so glad to see
Yeah,
him.
it's such a fucking stupid franchise. I love it, and I've dedicated too much of my life to it. It's so fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
What about Ben Quadranero? Did you love him as
Fucking Max Rebo's music style is called Jizz.
Jizz? Yeah.
What the fuck, guys?
We're gonna fucking kill Chris.
George Lucas is just yanking all of our dicks.
Yeah, what's this guy's name? I don't know. Blurpo McSqueezebag.
Is this where Justin Roiland got his inspiration for all the shitty names in Rick and Morty?
I can't breathe.
The Flurpo.
I need
You
God.
just put a bunch of random consonants together and just make a new word.
Dude, there's nothing more embarrassing than talking about like how much I fucking love Star Wars to somebody who doesn't give a shit about Star Wars. Well, I'm just like, yeah, no, Mr. Bones, the droid that's made by Snap Wexley, and
What are you talking?
and they're like, you're an insane person. You belong in an asylum.
Oh shit! Oh fucking shitballs. Jesus Christ!
I
Can
got
we-
Bib Fortuna.
Oh, I do know Bib Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with good things? Can we do bad things now?
I have one more good thing. I mentioned the very, very ending. There are some weird things leading up to giving him the ending that they gave him. But I genuinely think with the problems that this season had, I am kind of glad to see him in this place as an ending. The ending is that he goes back to the New Republic. He talks to the one X-Wing pilot, I forget his name, Teva?
It is Teva, yes.
And he...
I was gonna say it's Club
It's
Shit.
not Club Shit. But he goes...
Carson Teva.
Yeah,
A
Carson
decent,
Carson
a decent,
Wentz?
upstanding name.
Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson. Don't you dare compare Carson
No,
Wentz
he's...
to Tucker Carlson.
But,
Speaking of dumb fucking names, did you know that the Ewok Wicket's full name is Wicket W. Warwick? Sorry, Wicket W. Warwick? Why
Because
doesn't
it's
Ewok
Warwick
have a
Davis.
last name?
Because it's Warwick Davis, yeah.
Yeah, Warwick Davis is the actor under the suit. Yeah, so they put his
Is
name.
he
in
in The Mandalorian anywhere? He's in everything.
Savage Opress.
Savage Opress is a real character, yeah. Yeah, he's played by Mr. Krabs.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, he's in Clone Wars. He's pretty sick, actually.
Yo, I just saw John Wick 4 over the weekend. Clancy Brown in John
It's great.
Wick 4.
He's great.
Dude,
the whole movie's great.
That
It's
movie is a
fantastic.
fucking 10 out of 10.
It's fucking awesome.
That movie is a perfect from front to back.
But but my positive with this though is that
Sorry, I got distracted.
no, you're good. The very ending they're like, he is going to do contracts with the New Republic. He is not hanging out with the cult every day now. He's not on Mandalore. He's right next to Navarro, which is where he started out. He has a little like house, and he's got his kid and he's hanging out there.
I was fucking expecting the house building scene from Red Dead Redemption 2.
But like it's put itself in a place where it's like he's now a bounty hunter who doesn't have the Darksaber. He's not tied to retaking Mandalore in any way, and he's back to being the Mandalorian, doing bounty hunting, and has a kid. And I'm like, okay, those are fundamentally the things that made season 1 really good. We can start trying to do that again. We didn't even really see him do a ton of bounty hunting season 1 anyway. So like, I know that they're gonna probably be like, there's a bigger plot than him just bounty hunting.
Well, he said, "I'm a bounty hunter."
He's going after
trade,
Imperial,
right.
Imperial
and you have the
remnants.
Imperial remnants.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that is a recipe for, like, they hit the hard reset, and I think that is a recipe for success. He's going into season 4 without any real baggage.
That is true. They've also given a nice golden ticket to Katie Sackhoff to do the Bo-Katan spinoff series.
Sure.
If Disney decides to pick that up, and I'm sure they will because they love money. And
I just don't know what else she would do at this point.
I mean, protect Mandalore. They just killed
Yeah.
Moff Gideon. I would expect
sure.
a retaliation from the other guys.
Yeah, I feel like she has hit the point where she's like, oh no, I am now in charge of Mandalore, a thing that I've been trying to do since Clone Wars. I don't have the Darksaber, but people follow me anyway, and
I don't think the Darksaber stays broken.
probably not, just for
I think
the
it
fact
might
that it's
be
a cool visual.
It's a cool visual. There's no way they leave it dead. I think the armor
They're
probably
gonna
takes it
they're
up.
gonna reforge it so that way they can sell a new Darksaber.
The problem is with that is that you're right. That is what is going to happen. They're going to put the Darksaber back in the show somehow. The problem is it's very similar to Kylo's helmet, right? Where Kylo's helmet being destroyed is a big symbol where he's like, I'm not like Darth Vader anymore. And the Darksaber is like, I don't need to have this special relic to have all of these people follow me. And if they reforge it, it's very much like Kylo's helmet where he's like, I'm not like Darth Vader anymore. I'm my own person. I'm going to be the leader of this whole thing. I'm supreme leader. I am powerful. I can show my face. And then he's going to immediately be like, all right, I fixed the helmet. I'm putting the helmet back on. And it's just like, but you broke it. You were the one who broke it.
I agree with everything you said, but I do know that like 3-4 months ago, Hasbro came out with the Darksaber Force Effects blade.
100%.
So there's no way they're just throwing that cash cow away.
No, and it's not going to bother me that much. It's just it feels like it cheapens this a little bit.
No, absolutely, I agree.
Well, you know
100%.
what? It is gonna bother me that much because I don't think they should have fucking destroyed it in the first place.
Yeah,
So fair.
How often do we actually see the Darksaber used? Like
Not
it
in this
feels like
season that much.
it feels like it has barely gotten used, and it has a fuck ton of lore about it that could be explored going forward and looking back, and it just feels like a waste
I mean, maybe that
for the sake of merchandising. Again,
maybe that becomes season 1 of Bo-Katan, where she has to like reforge the Darksaber by going on this awesome mythic quest or whatever and figuring out its roots and blah 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 blah. Bringing back a Kyber crystal to the armorer so that she can reforge it.
Is this us transitioning into negatives a little bit though?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
fully.
I'm gonna start shitting on this episode real hard.
All right, go for it.
Okay. So first of all, they had established earlier in this season when they were chasing the winged thing that stole what's his name's kid?
Pause, yeah.
Paz's kid, the little Vizsla Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Fuel was a big problem. It's why they
I
could never
fucking
track
called
the
this
bird.
out.
And they're just flying around willy-nilly in and out of atmospheres and all around the stormtroopers, and they don't seem to be too concerned about fuel.
X goes into
I complained
space.
about this. I
X
complained
goes
about
into
this to
space
my
and
girlfriend.
comes back.
We were watching this together. I was like, why isn't fuel a concern this time? And she
Well,
just
X
hand
doesn't
waved
come
it
back.
off.
X comes back in a crashing star destroyer.
Sure. But, like, my point is, you established, like, what, 4 episodes ago, that fuel is a precious resource and you need to conserve it, especially when you are hunting and in the middle of a battle. That's why they had to walk there or fly her ship there and climb all the way up and all that shit. Like, there was a lot of reasons why if you want fuel to be a thing, great, make it a thing. I think that's cool. It gives the Mandalorians a little bit less of this immortal symbol. But, like, don't go in your finale with
No, but
everybody just burning jet fuel like
Jeff,
Delta
Jeff,
Force.
this is where you don't understand. This is where you're getting it wrong. You see, that was episode 4, and this is episode 8, so it's different.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
okay.
the past episode. This one,
Wait,
like-
hold on.
They're not
Is
doing
there
that.
is there a different writer?
Probably. They
Definitely.
they bounce around writers a little bit.
I wonder if this is more like Last Jedi, when fuel was suddenly a very big issue, when it's never been an issue before.
Well, yeah, it's important all the way through that movie, and like they actually do resource stuff. It's just the other movies just don't care about it. It's like it's annoying. It must be annoying to do a Star Wars thing in general, where like if you want anything to be important, somebody has already undermined it.
Exactly. Man. But yeah, like, fuel is a thing, all right? Awesome. Second thing.
Episode 4, directed by Carl Weathers. Episode 8, directed by Rick.
Well, 4 wasn't the one with the bird then. The bird was like 3, 5.
Four was the bird.
Wait. That was director. Both episode 4 and 8 were written by Jon Favreau. Dave Filoni also wrote for episode 4.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Actually,
sense.
Jon Favreau. The fuck, dude?
Happy? What are you doing, man?
I mean, Jon Favreau is like the main writer for all of it.
Yeah.
So.
Favreau
Season
is
1,
like
2,
the king of Star Wars at the moment, isn't he?
He's sort
It's
of
like-
he's sort of the current guy who is making Star Wars stuff, and Filoni is like the lore master. He's the guy who made Clone Wars with George Lucas, and George Lucas would turn to him and just be like, yeah, I want to add this character, and he's just like, actually, George, this character at this point in time would be off at Tatooine, so it doesn't make sense for him to show up right here at Naboo. Like it was like a Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, like, is the person who like has everybody's number in the universe.
I imagine he has like a massive, like 3 foot by 5 foot book, and it's just like full of weathered pages and like things that have been clipped and glued into it, and like slams it on a table whenever he comes into a room and just opens it up, and then you gotta blow the dust off
the
it. And then
tomes.
it's like, yeah. And then it's like, all right, so at this point in the time, 32 years before the Battle of Yavin, Luke Skywalker is born, or something.
And then on the final page, just 2 words: Glup Shitto.
Glup shitto.
No, the last page of Dave Filoni's book is probably like, and then Ahsoka Tano becomes God. Like, it's really
He loves Ahsoka.
He's the creator of Ahsoka Tano, and Ahsoka Tano is maybe the most popular character in Star Wars now. And he has killed the character twice and just refuses to let it stay.
So it's like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle with Sherlock.
Now, to be fair, both times one was a throwaway. One was not gonna happen. It was like a weird, like, it was a canon episode, but it was like a weird, like, side episode, like side arc that was like important but like weird. Where they dealt
that
with
where
like
they met
Force
the
gods.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the brother, sister, and father. I watched those episodes again recently. They're not that good. They are very weird.
I believe it.
There's a lot of inconsistencies and problems in those 4 episodes.
Weird.
4 or 3?
Inconsistencies? Problems? Are we still talking about Star Wars?
No, actually, this is Lost, where they go to a planet where it's a lost space-time planet, and then on it are these warring god people who represent good and dark.
I really thought you were going to go into, like, modern pop culture and be like, and then dinosaurs, and then Kylo Ren has a gun.
No. This episode.
What's that movie called? 65 million.
You're talking
or
about
some
6.
shit?
It's just 65, and it looks really bad. And
It looks so bad.
And I like Adam Driver. I hope him the best. It's just fucking man. 65 does not look like.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it might be worse than Jurassic World.
Jurassic World 1.
We'll
I'll do
save
Jurassic
that for
World 1.
another podcast.
But what was I saying before all that? Ahsoka. Yeah, she's died twice. Both times she's gotten out of it because of weird space magic. And now she's getting a show. And to be clear, I have no problem with the ways that they've done it in the past. It just is very funny how Ahsoka Tano seems like she has like sometimes the most plot armor you could give a character.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of dying and coming back,
I was gonna say, Chris, what'd you hate about this episode?
I hate that they could technically bring Moff Gideon back for another season because they established that he actually cloned himself. Sure, they killed all the clones, or so we think.
Right,
Maybe
they
he had
did leave
one
that little
secreted
loophole.
away.
There's a theory going around online right now that he doesn't have a mustache in this, but he does in the other two. So the clone hasn't grown the mustache yet. So maybe this isn't the Moff Gideon we know. So I think
if I see Moff Gideon again, I'm gonna be mad.
I have a question. If they bring Moff Gideon back, but not next season, how many season, if any amount, would you be okay with? Like, if season 7, they were like, and Moff Gideon has been alive this whole
Too
time.
soon.
Too soon?
You gotta go more.
Too soon.
Season 10.
He needs to not be in the remainder of this show.
All right.
Season
If he shows
36.
If he
I
shows
want
up
them
in
to
another
Simpsons
show down the line where, like, it's clear that he's a clone that somebody made, sure, fine.
Okay.
But he has had 3 seasons where he is the main bad guy. I'm tired of it.
So you want him in, like, Book of Boba Fett season 3?
It's getting a season 2?
I don't know. I just named a different show.
I don't think Book of Boba Fett's getting a second book. I'm gonna be straight with you.
You mean
guys.
this show that only we liked?
Yeah. Chris, what else did you hate about this episode? Is there much else?
Let's see. Covered the Darksaber, covered Moff Gideon.
Fuel.
I have a few negatives.
Well, I wasn't talking to you, but yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right, fine. All right.
That gives me a chance to
Chris,
think
go,
of
go ahead, Chris.
new things.
No, Chris. Jeff doesn't want to hear it.
I didn't say I didn't want to hear it. I just said I wasn't talking to you, Mitch.
What I hated about this episode is that Jeff is in it.
All right. Well, now that Chris has gotten his out of the way, no, I didn't. Some of the stuff I didn't like about the ending is, I like that IG-11 is actually back, but they didn't do anything to actually get that done. They were literally like, all right, this season's about to wrap up, looks up, oh, hey, there's a head. We can actually build him again. And then they just do.
Yeah.
And also the whole base where his whole body was in exploded, so I don't know how that all survived that, but, you know, that's fine. I can believe it being repaired. It just seems like we talked about it all season only so they could just do it without actually putting in the work.
I loved that bit because in my head, it was Filoni and Favreau being like, you see what you could have had, Cara Dune, if you just kept your fucking mouth shut? You could have been here instead of this emotionless, terrible, stiff robot.
Well, I don't mind. IG-11, I think, is a good character when he's not a mech or, like, not doing anything. I think that this is another thing that, like, builds into it is good later down the line. I think that I would have... it's like one of those things where I'm like, as I was watching it, I was like, man, I really would have appreciated this if this was ever actually a thing. And it's just kind of like... It feels like they were just sort of like, yeah, we should do something with this character that's voiced by Taika. Like, we should just put him back in somehow.
Sure.
I liked... actually, no, I didn't like anything about this. the very,
So
very
say this is bad stuff. I thought.
the very, very end with the kid doing like the song of the Mandalorian going in the water or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, Grogu doesn't have parents and can't be one of the Mandalorians and blah 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 blah. And Din Djarin's like, I'll adopt him. I'm like, what the fuck have we been doing this whole time?
Right. I was like, I thought this was already fucking established.
That's what the first 2 seasons were. Right?
Was he not already your child? Was he just a drinking buddy to you?
You've been teaching him like star maps and how to be a Mandalorian this whole season. Every time you talk,
I don't know. This feels really weird to me.
And Grogu looked up at him like he was surprised, and it's like,
Wait,
it's
really?
great that
Like,
Grogu
no
now.
fucking shit, kid.
It's great that he has a surname that comes first. So he's Din Grogu now.
Which is weird because Paz Vizsla did not.
Yeah. And Bo-Katan Kryze does not.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like this is just a Din Djarin thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Yeah, because her sister is Satine Kryze, so that's not. Yeah.
And the armorer calls her Lady Kryze.
Yeah.
And we've got pre-Vizsla and post-Vizsla.
And Post Malone.
Oh no! If Post Malone shows up in Star Wars, I'm done.
There actually is a character called Pre-Vizsla. He's
Pre-Vizsla's a real character, voiced by Jon Favreau.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Post-Vizsla was just a real shitty joke.
Yeah, and I could tell. I smelled it all the way over here.
We don't know. The kid's name could be Post. We don't know.
No, we already... Oh, you're talking about Vizsla's kid.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Glop Shido again.
No, Glub Shido is not Vizsla.
Fucking damn it. I'm just glad that when she said he's not old enough to speak, therefore he cannot take the creed and cannot become an apprentice.
I 100% thought he was going to talk.
I'm so glad he didn't talk.
Oh my god.
I really thought he was going to talk, and I was gonna be like, oh, fuck, don't do this.
God, we gotta get that kid into therapy.
He even kind of squeaked a little.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, it's coming. Oh boy.
Do you think that would have been better or worse than at the end of episode 9 where Rey and Kylo kiss?
Oh no, the Kylo Rey kiss is maybe the worst thing in Star Wars.
Yeah, that's real fucking bad.
I actually don't think I can. I mean, Luke and Leia kiss, but you know.
That's before anybody knew.
Yeah.
That's before
it's
Lucas
not like
said
a
that they were
weird-
siblings.
Yeah, that's just a lapse of like not having a
It was
like a
also for
setup all
luck.
the way through. No, they also kiss on
In
on
5.
Hoth. Yeah.
on Hoth.
That's a full on making Han jealous kiss.
Yeah, but like, who won't kiss their sibling to make somebody jealous? Come
All
on.
right, we should probably end the podcast there. No, but what the problem I'm coming up with now is I'm thinking about it, and the thing that I do like about this episode is really just that the fights are good. Like there are other things,
But it's some pretty sloppy storytelling. All in all.
that is the problem with this. Is I officially will say I think that this is a finale.
It's fun for sure. Yeah.
I just think it doesn't conclude anything we've been doing. It does conclude things, but the things we were doing didn't feel meaningful. And then the last 2 episodes were very cool, and then the show ended. And I don't think that this is like a horrible season. It is a far cry from 1 and 2.
Absolutely. I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if this season got rushed or if they really were out of ideas and didn't know what to do.
Well,
But I'm glad they've kind of hit the reset button so that 4 can be better. But like, this season sucked.
I did hear one thing, that a lot of the reason why Bo is basically the main character through a lot of it, and I don't know if you noticed, we never got a Pedro Pascal face reveal in this season.
Mm-hmm. I did notice.
And people are pointing out it would have lined up a lot with him doing The Last of Us, a show where he's never wearing a mask. He's just always Joel. And people are wondering if, being in 2 major franchises and a ton of movies is, a detriment to The Mandalorian as a whole. But
I mean, I do firmly believe that it is,
Mhm.
and I know that Pedro doesn't have the most fun being in that suit all day long, and I know that a couple of these episodes were largely shot with the body double in the suit and the voice done afterwards.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that's something they can just keep doing.
well, I've also heard he doesn't even really care about being in the suit so much as I believe that they were like in the first season they were like
He was annoyed that his face is not in the show.
Well, it wasn't even that. The people were framing it like that. Apparently, the thing is, they said that they were going to pay him as a voice actor, which means less.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, my face is in this scene. Nope, I get paid as a real actor all the way through. Not right, say real actor because I care about voice acting, but Hollywood doesn't. So like his face has been in 2 seasons, so he's like, nope, being paid as an actor. So people were expecting this would be the season where his helmet is off permanently. And people were talking about like the armor. We actually mentioned this at one point too, of like armor and Pre Vizsla maybe being Paz Vizsla being bad guys. Like before the season.
Yep.
And then it turned out it's like no, they're cool. They're good. Whatever. But it's like no, it's like they're a cult. And if they leaned into that, then he could be like, no, I'm taking my helmet off for real permanently. And they did not lean into that. But what are you gonna do?
It's a weird situation, and I don't know what exactly is going to come of it, but, like, I can't see, even with Disney money, Pedro has absolutely blown up so much. I can't see them affording him for too many seasons of this show. And it sounds like
it really feels like he is the biggest name in Hollywood at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
It really does, and I don't think, even with Disney money, they're going to keep him as the star of this show for very long.
They can keep him with Disney money. It's really will they in a show called The Mandalorian when there's 900 Mandalorians in the universe.
Exactly. It's like Doctor Who. They kind of shoehorned like a backdoor escape plan in there. Whenever they don't like the main actor, they can just switch who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But like
maybe next season we'll follow Axe Woves.
That was one of my biggest complaints about this whole season was that they couldn't decide who the main character was until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh yeah, it's been Mando all along. And I'm like, I knew that, but like it feels like you guys didn't know that. Like I'm all for B plots and all, but like Mando wasn't in half of this show. Like it's the fucking Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put him in it. Or have him step aside officially or something. I don't know. I didn't like the way this show was handled front to back, and that is why, drumroll please, I give this entire season a D.
A D.
This season gets a fucking D from me. And I fucking love Star Wars. I find excuses to give things better grades. This gets a D.
All right.
Troy.
I don't think I disliked as much as you. It's definitely the worst season so far. It had cool stuff in it. I probably more episodes as a whole than you. I'm still gonna go probably C-.
Okay. Chris, how you feeling?
I'm probably the easiest to please, so this makes sense. I'm going with a C+.
All right.
I do have a rant that I could go on, but that might take like 10 minutes.
Give me the 30-second version of it.
I fucking hate how the New Republic is shown to be utterly incompetent from the very start of their inception all the way through to the sequel trilogy. It just pisses me off that everything that Han, Luke, and Leia did was for fucking nothing.
Oh, that is my biggest complaint with the entire New Republic in general. I've always hated the way they've been dealt with, especially since like Force Awakens. I was like, oh, they just obliterated the whole ass government in 2 seconds. And the government had no standing army. Why? Like, none of that made sense to me. Especially as a guy who fucking grew up reading the goddamn extended universe books. Like, it just feels like they threw away so much fucking potential for the sake of just, oh, now we've got Rebels versus Empire again. Isn't this great? Like, no. No, it's not. We already did this. It was great then. Do something new, fuckwits. You have infinite money and infinite time to make this good, and you did nothing.
And there wasn't even a fight. It was just, they pressed a button, and the New Republic lost.
Yep. Just instantly. It was fucking garbage. Anyway, but this isn't about The Force Awakens. I do very, very much agree with you, though, Chris. I stand with you on that point.
I
think D would be with us there, too.
I like the sequels, and I don't disagree.
You like all
You
of
started
them?
out saying you. You started out saying you liked them, and I was ready to throw hands.
I like two. I like 2 of the 3, and the one of those 2 I like more than most Star Wars.
7 was enjoyable. 8 was good.
Yeah,
and 9 was 9.
9 is maybe the worst of all 9.
Yes,
It is the worst.
it is the
Flat out.
worst out of all the Star Wars feature films.
Worse than Rogue One?
That's it
Yes.
for our episode. We got some stuff coming your way soon. We're gonna do the Renfield movie. We're gonna do the Evil Dead movie. We got the video game podcast we're working on.
We're gonna
because
play
there's-
Star Wars this Friday.
We're gonna play Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Dude,
Troy's gonna go buy an Xbox.
Our opinion of Star Wars instantly will 180.
Oh, absolutely. As soon
We'll
as
be
Marin
like, Star
shows
Wars
up,
is always good and has always been good. Marin's great.
as soon as Marin shows up on screen, I'm just in love again, and I just want to make her happy. That's
Did
it.
you know
I just
that
wanna make Marin happy.
there was a tie-in book between the 2 games?
I didn't know that. What? You want me to do homework?
Kind of.
I don't. I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna tell
Also,
you
in the
right now, I'm not gonna
in the middle of this podcast, I may have pre-purchased Star Wars.
Oh, I did that a month ago. I just got my pre-install just finished.
Your pre-Vizsla?
Yes.
That's so funny about Star Wars though, is that like any given moment, and it's one of the reasons that I'm never like out of Star Wars. I'm never. I've fully been like.
Because every once in a while a gem comes out.
Not even that. I feel like it's like you'll like. It's not even like really a gem. Like there's a lot of good Star Wars.
There is, yeah, and I feel like
There's also a lot of bad Star Wars, like the
100%.
start of Battlefront 2, and then it got
100%.
good, like the end of Battlefront 2.
Yeah. There's good things in Star Wars,
and
like
then there's
Battlefront 2.
just absolute perfect parts of Star Wars, like the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah, but there's
Agreed.
Just
great.
to bring it back around.
There's bad Star Wars like EA's Battlefront 2, and there's good things in Star Wars like EA's Battlefront 2.
Yeah. When they completely changed everything, and they were like, "Psych, we're just kidding. Please don't be mad at us."
Or you can play Star Wars Squadrons, which was really good, and then everybody stopped playing it.
Listen, Troy, we just wanted to give our players a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah, that's great. That's fine.
Still the most downvoted comment in Reddit history by a large fucking margin.
And I believe it forever will be, because they have since capped the maximum number of downvotes at like 10,000 or something.
There's
And
like-
that thing had hundreds of thousands of
There's
downvotes.
like
That's
there's like Nazi manifestos on Reddit.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
And
The
that's
second
the one
most-
thing.
The second most downvoted comment is literally from a guy asking people to downvote him. And Star Wars, like, octupled his downvotes.
It's weird. Do you think that in a Star Wars game, it turns out in Star Wars games, people want to play Darth Vader day one. It's super weird.
That's so weird,
That's
man.
the weirdest thing I could possibly
You don't want to run
imagine.
around as a no-name stormtrooper for like 6 weeks grinding battle points
I
to
guess-
unlock Darth Vader?
Guess not.
How do you think that PR guy is doing? Or gal?
I
or
hope
person?
they're fired. I hope they're fired. Speaking of fired, this podcast is not fired, but it is over. It's very late. I am tired.
Chris is fired.
I wake up at 5
What?
a.m. every day. I'm going to sleep
Yeah,
now.
sorry, bud.
I guess I'll go home. Oh, wait, I'm home.
Find a new podcast, man.
Yeah, you're out, bud. We voted.
We should.
Well,
end the
I
episode.
can't argue with democracy.
Outro music. Goodbye, everybody. We love you very much. Who's still listening at this point? Nobody, right?
Yeah, we could say anything. We could go fucking nuts.
I am the podcast.
I'm this podcast.
Kanye has a couple good points.
I actually kind of think that I think I might buy an Aaron Rodgers jersey.
But it's got to be a green Jets jersey, right?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna buy the Twitter blue check mark.
Oh.